Let's get those tax cuts in place as soon as possible to stop the terrible Biden economy. Let's hope the Republican Congress keeps pushing the accelerator down to the floor in order to get the tax cuts passed as soon as possible, because Joe Biden left Donald Trump a really lousy economy. For a moment there, I was worried that the Trump tax cuts were going to be on the back burner and falling off the stove. But that was solved brilliantly by Speaker Mike Johnson and his House rescue mission. He even gave the stock market a temporary second wind. But new numbers from last year's fourth quarter just came out, essentially showing a collapse of business and business investment, including a large drop in machinery and equipment, which is really the heart and soul of the economy. Even consumer spending was soft. Retail sales fell sharply in January. But without business investment, you're not going to get productivity or higher real wages or fatter working class wallets. Actually, Biden manufacturing had been in recession for over 2 years. Housing in recession for even longer. The only thing Joe Biden gave us was massive government spending, drove up inflation and interest rates. And even now, the Biden inflation legacy is back again through 4% in the past 3 months. That's after rising over 20% over 4 years, as working folks couldn't afford to live in the Biden economy. And that legacy has left Mr. Trump with $2 trillion plus budget deficits as far as the eye can see, which is why he's so keen on helping Elon's Doge to curb fraudulent and corrupt spending wherever it is found, including new efforts to retire bloated federal bureaucracy in the D.C. swamp. None of this is a pretty picture. Mr. Trump has a plan. Now, that plan to cut taxes and deregulate and curb spending and drill, baby, drill, that plan's gathering momentum after the House GOP victory 2 nights ago. I love reading in the New York Times and elsewhere how the soggy economy is really Mr. Trump's fault. No, it's not. He was just in January 20th, for heaven's sakes. It won't be Mr. Trump's economy until after his program is fully in place. Hopefully that comes by late spring, when the tax cuts get finished. Now, expectations of policy success will wax and wane with the vagaries of Congress, but Trump is on track right now with a fully balanced pro-growth plan that will produce more goods at lower prices. Just what the doctor ordered, just what Joe Biden could never achieve. And don't listen to the ultra-left economists who are going to tell you that a little bit of trimming of the bloated federal workforce is somehow going to sink the economy. Complete nonsense. Think of this. With a total civilian workforce of roughly 160 million people, chopping off 50 or 70,000 in Washington is not impactful. Plus, they'll get severance, and they're mostly well-educated, and they can get good private sector jobs, which would be great for the economy. Indeed, the Biden economy became a governmental economy, robbing the private sector of its strength and vitality. The whole point of the new Trump economy is to revitalize the private sector or reprivatize the business sector. Clear away the federal fat that has blocked the free market arteries of success, and that will be a major Trumpian achievement. Just consider this for a moment. Getting federal spending as a share of GDP back down from roughly 24% now to its historic 20% in the next bunch of years could get economic growth back up from its paltry 1.8% trend to its historic 3% plus trend. That is worth roughly $3 trillion of private sector stimulus, which will more than finance the lowest business tax rates in the world. So, congressional Republicans, open the throttle just as far as it will go and take us to the new Trump economy faster than anyone thought possible. Move with due speed. And that's the riff.